Hello everyone, I am Renown Zero, and we are back again talking about the brand new goalpost that has dropped by the detractors, such as Buster Baxter and a few others that are fans of said creator named Buster Baxter. To which I put out this tweet and I said, "We have officially reached the new goalpost, ladies and gentlemen. ISOM was created with AI art, and apparently we've all been fooled all along." Said no Rippaverse fan ever. So now they're trying to essentially discredit Gabe Altaib's work. They're trying to discredit his artwork in ISOM 2 because certain things that they decided to nitpick, which they've gotten wrong, which I'm going to show in this video today. You know, Gabe Altaib has also worked on All American Lawman by Dean Cain. If you really can't see that this artwork is very similar to both ISOM 1 and 2, you might need to get your eyes checked. But I'm talking to the people who want to disingenuously be obtuse and tell you that Gabe Altaib's work is in fact AI art when my profile picture is AI art and looks pretty dang good. It doesn't look anywhere near what a drawn comic book would look like, correct? It's quite interesting how that works. And as I will say here, yes, something like Alpha Core will have different artwork because it is a different artist. Each artist has their own style to work with. So Eric decided to pick the two best people to create Alpha Core, which are Chuck Dixon, who is the writer, and Joe Bennett, who is the artist. Each book requires a different team of people, similar to a Marvel or DC, where they'll have different writers and different artists for every character being created in those two companies. So as of this recording, of course, I'm going to do a quick refresh. Alpha Core number 1 is currently sitting at $1.072 million, over 10,000 purchasers and over 18,000 books sold. You can still pick up your copy of this book here for $28 for covers A, B, or D, $50 for cover C, which is the foil and embossed cover. There are only 5,000 of these being printed, and they will never be printed again. You obviously have the Rippaverse store where you can get your merch here. They just recently had a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, 30% off. You were able to get stuff for much, much cheaper. But we're going to be moving over to Blade Devil, right? Notice that Blade Devil has 1,486 backers, raising $141,000, right? Pretty good. That's pretty great. Definitely, I believe, sold close to what Blade Devil 1 was at, possibly more, not entirely sure. But as you can see, something like Super Killer, right, had 72K. So Blade Devil managed to do double what Super Killer did, and is currently sitting at 1,426 backers. I believe it was mirroring around 77K when Vito posted on his Twitter in his pinned tweet, and has barely gained any more money since then. But as you can see, something like Blade Devil, which is not written by a weirdo leftist, it's written by Raging Golden Eagle and penciled by Toxic Man Baby on Twitter, seems to be doing very well. Why? Because they are openly promoting their book wherever they go. Whereas Vito, no one really likes you, so no one's going to buy your stuff. And you keep acting like a total fool and clearly, seemingly trolling Air July more than working on your product. And you have already admitted that that is more fun for you to do than to work on your product. Well, we will show here the amazing artwork from Blade Devil 2. If you're into the more anime and manga style type of artwork, this book is for you. Blade Devil 1 was amazing. I highly recommend it. You can add it on with this campaign or get it from this campaign here. If you do not care too much about damage on your book and you just want to read the book, this is where you can get it for $10, whether you want cover A, cover B, or cover C. Also, Death, Death, Death by Joe Ball, 88K, 1,159 backers. This has less backers than Vito and yet has made more money. Why? Our work is better. Joe Ball promotes his book more often, is always updating people on his artwork, and takes his artwork more seriously than Vito. And I would not be surprised if this book actually comes out before Super Killer does. And he, Joe Ball, is working on this pretty much a one-man show, doing all the artwork, all the penciling, basically all the inking, all the coloring, and all the writing for this book. Much better artwork than Super Killer. So, moving on over here, right? WTF, what stupid fans, right? Apparently because people have noticed new things by rereading ISOM 2 that they're stupid fans. Meanwhile, you put up some criticism, quote unquote, or notes as you call it, saying things like putting a hand on someone's shoulder is akin to harming someone, which really makes you stupid because you don't understand that that's completely wrong. Especially when the person putting their hand on the person's shoulder, they know the person. It's Isom putting his hand on Jasmine. But you want to call everybody else stupid, right? Moving over to Sean Harwick. Now, want to be talking about this, right? This whole button on the wall, right? You read it online, aka for free. There's no such thing as a digital copy for this book. It's not available to read online unless, of course, you read a scanned version, aka a pirated version, because someone put it out there as in digital form. There's no digital forms available to purchase for this book, so you essentially didn't purchase this book, you just read it for free by essentially reading a pirated, scanned version. What's your favorite part of ISOM 2? Mine is this page where they seem to have changed an elevator door to a metal detector, but left the elevator button on the now floor, and there's a strange light, so it's coming out of the wall. So, considering I actually own the book, because I'm not a brokey and I can afford to pay for it, and I was interested in reading ISOM 2 after reading ISOM 1, let's flip to the page that you're concerned with, apparently. So, considering that this is a terrible scam, because right over here, you can see this terrible gray, when it's actually a lot darker, right? The corner is a lot darker, right? So clearly you can see that the light source is coming from somewhere over here. Because if this corner is dark, that means there's a light source coming from literally up here, coming down here. Also, this quote-unquote elevator door changed to metal detector, there's literally panels on this side here of people going in an elevator to go down to the garage. They're going down to the garage. But of course, taking one panel out of context and trying to essentially show people that something doesn't exist or something is out of place hurts your narrative, right? It hurts your narrative that this isn't actually an elevator, it's a metal detector, right? But I digress. Say what you will about this. At least don't take stuff out of context when you're trying to make a point. Moving on over to, of course, Buster Baxter always seems to have something to say. This is him saying Air July is, of course, a false flagger, right? And it's essentially a tweet that Vito put out saying he'll put up 1K. I highly doubt you even have $1,000 to spare. That for the proof of emails concerning the lawsuit with the ministry, right? This is you. Translation, as Sarah Jane would say, the black man has to think like me, or I hate everything he says. Good job on being everything you say you hate. I guess a confused face, which is crazy. They like to say, oh, don't use race or racism, right? But it seems like you only care that the black man is doing a comic book, but not everybody else that's doing an independent comic, right? Which makes it weird that you would use this face, considering kind of makes sense here. This is, of course, and then respond again. I'm not on a crusade. I just want things I like. You can have what you want, and I'm not going to throw a fit about it like you are. That's the difference. See, this is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine for someone to say. But of course, you have to turn it into it's some culture war trash. What you like is culture war trash marketed to stupid people. They can like the culture war trash, just like everyone can like your trash podcast. In my opinion, I can say your podcast is trash, right? Well, people like it. I'm not going to people saying, well, you can't watch Biggest Problem in the Universe because I don't like it or I don't enjoy it. That's the difference that she's trying to say here. That's the point she's trying to make. You just hate everything and everyone that likes something you don't. which is why you're a weirdo. You're like that ex-girlfriend that doesn't stop crying about her ex. That's the type of person you are. You cry like a little baby all the time. And you've been doing this for almost a year now. It's weird. And you're hypersensitive to getting made fun about it. I don't see anything here. I just see a perfectly normal statement. All of you rip-retards are. That's why you keep getting made fun of. No one's getting made fun of, bro. Person even responds, I'm not sensitive at all. You're the one throwing a constant hissy fit because people like something different. Notice we're not the ones doing that. Stop acting like a child. We're not taking away your toys. We just have our own. Perfectly said. This person saying a bunch of nonsense. I'll get to this person in a little bit. That and made fun of for wearing hoodies with that dopey uninspired Hermes hat logo. Holy smokes, that is gay. Again, it's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. It's like an a-hole. Everyone has one. And you're full of crap. Who cares? Of course, we have Richard, who can't seem to focus on his own book. We may have had differences, but as I said before, if you would focus on your own book rather than sitting up here doing this nonsense, you'd probably have 100 backers by now. Maybe you do. Who knows? But see, someone like Tyler, the creator, who's working on multiple books at once, he's not up here doing this nonsense that you're doing. Finally, we get to hear this character talk. Biggest problem in the universe, some of the funniest stuff on YouTube that barely anybody watches. So, great objective review of ISOM 2. It sucks, and people who say they like it should be embarrassed. Again, there are people that like a crappy movie called The Last Jedi. They're allowed to like said crappy movie, The Last Jedi, but objectively it's terrible. Because it goes against everything that someone like Luke Skywalker stood for. But once again, you're one of those people that's saying, you like this, you're embarrassed, you should be embarrassed that you like something I don't like. How about go F yourself? Because again, like I said, people could like your trashy podcast, but no one's going around going, your podcast is trash, and going to people that watch it saying, oh, you can't like that podcast. You should be embarrassed you like that podcast. No one's doing that weird crap. It's only your side and specifically you that's doing this nonsense. Crying about Eric pretty much every day is the objective book, which, by the way, this person's saying nothing happens in book, nothing that has anything to do with book one, following up on Avery's journey from book one. Clearly, it's not true, considering that other people can see continuity and you can't. Just because you can't see the continuity because you're just as dumb as Dick Masterson doesn't mean it's not there. Just saying. It's nice to see people outside the right-wing grift bubble reviewing ISOM and seeing it for the cultural garbage it is. It's literally this person saying for FFS, meaning for F's sake. How many times can Eric July say that he didn't risk spending $100K starting a comic book company just to own the haters? It's like idiots just hear what they want to. Second, he literally hired legendary writers to expand, and they still complain. That's in reference to this comment. Saying many of us want Eric to succeed. No, you don't. But people are not going to continue to shell out good money just to quote own the haters. That's not what people are doing. People are looking for escapism, and good material is what they're doing outside of the trash mainstream comics that no one gives a crap about. He would be better off handing the entire comic writing to Chuck and other seasoned vets who've come on board. That way, it's supposed to say that way, he can exclusively be CEO and promote. I was just reading the comment because it says that we. It's supposed to say that way. But he's hired the Saska sisters to write Yaira. He's hired Chuck Dixon to write Alpha Core. He's hired Mike Barron to write Gooding the Polymath. And he can write Isom's story because it's a character he made, similar to every character he made. He could literally write all the characters. He created them all. But he chose people that he felt would be more suitable to write the characters, like Chuck Dixon with Alpha Core, Saska sisters with Yaira. They're probably gonna write Bloodroof too. I'm sure Chuck Dixon will probably write Sandswan as well, or maybe even Norfolka. Who knows? It's just weird how these people act. It's very weird, very, very weird. Yep, it's funny how fans of Eric are just trolls and haters when they dare to point out any flaws in someone's first book. Eric isn't a terrible writer as his first book. All I can ask out of a writer is they seek to improve when they're just starting out. Eric is worse than a terrible writer. His book has sold more copies than your trash book, by the way. Every single character he writes, it sounds exactly the same. Who cares? Even absolute beginners won't make that mistake. It's more indicative of autism or lower IQ that people are used to reading. Here's the thing. Still an opinion. At the end of the day, still an opinion. You could believe that all the characters sound the same because all you hear is Eric running around in your head because he lives rent-free in your head, which is probably why you think that every character sounds the same. It's very weird that you would believe that. Moving over to, of course, Ethan Van Skyber wants to come at me saying that I'm trying to start some kind of weird war between Cyberfrog fans and ISOM fans, which is something I've never done. People can like whatever they want. They can like Ethan's stuff, they can like Eric's stuff, they can like both people's stuff. They can like whatever you want. But you want to sit up here and say, why are people mad at you because the cover of ISOM 2 sold more copies than the purchases of Alpha Core 1? People will see this as you talking crap. Trash talking. People will see it as that way. You may not mean it that way, but there are people that will see it that way. Similar to how you're trying to make predictions about how much Alpha Core number 1 will make within the campaign, rather than just saying what Nick Rekieta has said in the past, something like, I hope Eric makes all the money in the world, rather than seeming to some people that you are jealous of his success. You could be happy for your friend making all the money in the world. He's allowed you to do a commission for ISOM 2. You bragging about it doesn't do anything for anybody. But if you want to be that way, go right ahead. No one cares. But here, 13,157, yes, it is higher than how many purchasers of Alpha Core there are. Meanwhile, Alpha Core is still going. It's going until January 20th. So there's plenty of time for there to be more purchasers than, of course, the numbers shown for ISOM 2, cover B, which is your cover, which, again, no one really knows because more books are being sold constantly of ISOM 2 cover B that don't add up or add to the numbers for the campaign numbers. They don't add up. So you'll never really know how many cover Bs have actually sold outside of this, right? Unless people post about it. Moving on to this, I can't believe my one little tweet has sent the comic community in such an uproar. Eric lied to me and gaslit me to think what I saw and heard wasn't true. Thanks to this weirdo for having the stream, it will now prove to the haters that's what I said is the truth. What did you say, though? That's the thing. What did you actually say? Where's the one little tweet? Thank you. I have 2 channels and is a member of several shows. I know what a members only stream looks like. I was 30 minutes behind watching it and then it just stopped all of a sudden. I'm not upset at all the crabby attacking me because I know the truth will come out. The truth of what? The truth of what exactly? The fact that you were crying about Eric hiding apparently live streams, meanwhile the live streams always go members only? That? You mean that? Because I already said that. So, but of course Dick Masterson has to talk crap, right? What sort of vile, bad things will Eric July not perpetrate just to protect his failing culture or comic book grift? Only time will tell. First of all, he's made more money than you'll ever see in your entire life. So if you want to talk about grift, again, where's the grift? Is the book photoshopped or am I really holding it in my hand? Am I really holding ISOM 2 in my hand or is this Photoshop? Where's the grift, homie? Still failed to see the grift. WTF is going on with this page. What does around the checkpoints even mean? Well, for someone who has a reading comprehension of a first grader, checkpoints in a secure building. There are different checkpoints that people have to go through to get to secure areas in a building. Of course, you wouldn't know that. And of course, he brings up this from Master of the TDS, shout out, where he says, it's not, quote, good faith criticism, right, Eric July? Again, what does this have to do with Eric and Rippaverse? He doesn't watch Doctor Who, nor does he care. He just talks about the fact that people's escapism has been destroyed. That's about as far as Eric July's knowledge of Doctor Who goes. You would be best suited to talk to someone like Gary from Neurotic or Heel versus Babyface about something like that. This is like an effing bug in a video game, but in a hand-drawn comic, they're referring to the elevator button. Of course, I don't think ISOM is hand-drawn. There are so many structural mistakes in things like buildings and stairs. You don't draw, for one. You don't draw, so how would you know that? Because you have a friend named Ethan Van Sciver that tells you about these things? Because I suspect you saying I suspect it was rendered in SketchUp and colored by a human, which it wasn't, because, again, this has the same art style as All-American Lawman, written by Dean Cain. Ethan is the only reason you would know about this, because he literally says it here. Looks like a digital asset from a drawing assist program like SketchUp. Here's the shape of a doorway and whatever perspective you need, but they helpfully added elevator buttons, which the artist didn't see and forgot to remove, which, again, I've shown you it's supposed to be an elevator door. The lines on the floor aren't from any visible light sources. Like I've shown you, this part up here is dark, so clearly the light source is coming from up here. This whole thing is lit up. And this is the only dark part. So is it over here. But I'm guessing Gabe Altai was baffled by them and colored them as if they were intended to be. Because what are they? Might as well color them. Sloppy work delivered on time. Sloppy work in your opinion. Again. And again, I've waited 2 years for your book. Yes, you could have amazing artwork. I will never say that your artwork is terrible. I would never say that Kyle Ritter's colors are terrible. Kyle Ritter is probably one of the best colorists I've ever seen, especially his Rainbow the Brute colors are fantastic. I would never say that Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog work is terrible. I'd be lying if I said that. And I would never say that Kyle Ritter's colors aren't fantastic. I'd be lying if I said that. But again, at least ISOM gets delivered to me when I order it. Not 2 years from now, within a month or so from when I ordered it. Here are the 3D assets Eric July used to draw ISOM, which you've probably got this information from Ethan Van Sciver. You don't know anything about this. So that's why the comic feels so boring and lifeless. It's just ready-made 3D models assembled for cheap and sold to cultural rubes and suckers for as much as they can afford. Sure. Which I've had back and forth with some people as well. Men are better than women, which is Dick Masterson's novel, is better than anything Eric July will ever release. It also has fewer typos, which I respond by saying, yeah, Eric July has sold more copies of comics than that book has ever or will ever sell. So tell me more about how telling me about the typos in Dick's book makes his book better. Also, what's your favorite part of the book if you even own the book? Never responded, by the way. What's funnier is that book has been out way longer than Eric said it hasn't done nearly enough. There's his Professor Hating shout out. There's tons of typos in ISOM is the weirdest flex I've seen. I can't remember anything which breaks my immersion or looks odd. And when I ask for an example, people never give me anything other than a panel with fake dialogue, which is the panel that was used by Pancake Jeff, for the people that know who that is, who tried to clown Eric July with a fake page with fake dialogue. They even had the watermark on it from ISOM 1. There are typos in ISOM, but there aren't many. There's maybe like 1 or 2. Yes, there's the Gooding, which Eric has addressed and promises to do better in the future, which is what you're supposed to do when you get told something like that by people who actually purchase the book, not by people who pirate your book. That's the thing that people have a problem with. People have a problem with taking quote-unquote criticism from people criticizing Eric's book when they've never actually purchased the book, which is what he's always said. Why would I listen to people who don't purchase my product? The only people that he'll be listening to are his fans and his customers that actually purchase the book. Not some weirdo trolls on the internet that go to certain websites and sail the high seas, and find the book in dark waters. It's nice to see people. Yeah, I responded to this. It's nice to see people outside the right wing grift while reviewing ISOM. I said, continue to spread lies. You're literally the only one grifting, considering you don't care about comics. You never have. You said it yourself that comics are for losers. I guess that would mean they would be for you, considering you're a loser. You've already admitted in a live stream that you want to destroy Eric's business, and all you're doing is bringing more eyes on it for him to make more money. It's very weird for you to be doing this. Here's that Ryan Tyler person I told you about earlier. Dick, it's worse than that. It's a YouTube collaborative scheme to sell this dumb book, sell this AI manufactured soulless art, and make a circle jerk of YouTube super chat wealth. All at the expense of fans who just want cool stuff to read and watch. To which I respond, wow, I never thought Eric July selling a comic book could get so many stupid people riled up to the point where said stupid people like this are claiming that Gabe Al-Taib is creating AI art for the Rippaverse. Please, weirdos, seek help with your miserable lives. Considering that Eric did not accept AI art for a fan art contest, I don't think he would accept AI art for a comic book universe he's building. This is why this argument is stupid. But shout out to Two Town LG for saying this as well. The same effort some of y'all clowns have talking down on Eric July and the Rippaverse could be used to create / critique your own or your quote friends work. Some of y'all won't because y'all don't have anything outside of drama farming though. Such a pity. Good morning though. That's exactly right. Y'all want to downplay this man's artistic ability just because you don't like ISOM, which is very weird. If you don't like ISOM, don't read it. If you don't like Eric's politics, don't buy it. Although, he will gladly take anybody's money who wants to buy his material. Whether you like him or hate him, he will accept your money because at the end of the day, Eric is a capitalist and will gladly take his haters' money if they choose to review or do whatever they want with said book. Because again, it's the same type of artwork being used for All American Lawmen written by Dean Cain. So at the end of the day, all these people are doing is bringing more eyes onto the Rippaverse, ISOM, Alpha Core, etc., etc. And all these people do is complain, rather than move on to something else. They want to sit up here and do the actual grifting, do the actual talking nonsense that they do. Because there have been people as well that said, oh, I can make money talking crap about this book that I don't really care about. Sign me up. Of course they want to do that. Because they have nothing important going on in their lives except for hating on another man's success and counting another man's money. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit the like button, comment below if you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content like this. Hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all, that way you get notifications anytime I post a new video. If you would like to go further, you can join the channel for just $1 a month. I really, really appreciate it. You're never obligated to do so, but it does go a long way in supporting the channel and the stuff that I do. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.